everyone, I'm Oriel Morrison-Higgins and I'm joined today by Matthew Boyce, the Managing Director of Pacgold. Matthew, welcome. Well, you've certainly been busy.
I have been, yes. Good morning, Oriel. Thanks for having me on.
Let's talk about your demerger of your North Queensland assets. Take us through this decision-making process.
I think, yeah, the decision-making process was basically looking at getting in a group of a company really that could back and accelerate the exploration of our North Queensland assets. You know, it's a massive land package. It has the potential to be a very, very large gold mine, both Alice River and also St. George. And we were looking at it from the point of view is how can we benefit our shareholders by moving these assets faster and with more horsepower than what Pacgold has, and how can we who do we get in to do that? And I think we've chosen a partner in Emerald, or they chose us, that is very, very capable of doing that and has a history of bringing assets from exploration all the way through to production.
Well, so Emerald Resources, for those investors who don't know, is a proven gold producer, right? And they're backing Manda, the name of the new company, serious money, putting its own management team in as well. I mean, this says quite a lot about credibility, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It's third-party verification at its highest level. Really, it's you've got as the assets are going into a group called Manda. Manda is really a company, a private company, public-private company set up by the high net worth individuals and backers out of Emerald. And the idea of Manda is to go and look for the next asset that Emerald can bolt on to their company, which has got the potential to produce 200,000 to 300,000 ounces of gold per year, not 100,000 ounces of gold per year. Because as you know, through the discussions and through the time that we were looking at doing this deal, there was a lot of rhetoric around, well, we can build a mine, but it takes the same amount of people to do a 100,000 ounce mine and resources as it takes us to build a 300,000 ounce mine. And so really that was where the impetus for looking at building a hub and spoke style deal with their management team, or members of their management team, members of our group as well, and then pushing the whole thing along at a much more accelerated rate with a lot more money behind it than what it's sitting at the moment.
So on top of this deal that you've just announced, there is an ASX listing in Manda's future, probably even as close as this year. What sort of timeline are you looking at for that?
As we discussed with the webinar yesterday and on the release, ideally I think they're aiming to list to go to IPO sometime end of November, December this year. There's a lot of things to do between now and then. So they are putting funds into the kitty at the moment so that we can kick off the exploration at the Northern Queensland assets now instead of having to wait until the IPO is done. But they are progressing with all the other bits and pieces that you need to get an IPO up and running, so the prospectus and everything else. And I think the aim is for the end of quarter four this year.
Okay, so something we'll be watching out for quite closely. Any announcements on that? Now, Matthew, on the Pacgold side of things, you're now almost free to focus completely on White Dam in South Australia. So where are you at with that, and what should investors be watching out for?
Look, White Dam's progressing really well. We've got drill rigs back on the ground now, which is fantastic. We've had them and sort of shut down because of the diesel issues for a couple of months, but now with diesel prices sort of dropped back to not pre-Iran, but it's dropped back to a point where we're comfortable with restarting exploration, which is really the lifeblood of the company and the lifeblood of growing these assets. So that's underway now, which is excellent. The crushing of the re-crush of the pad is going to plan, which is great. We've just put another 100,000 tonnes under irrigation there. We have started an MRE, so a mineral resource estimate update for our Vertigo pit, because we were lucky enough to get 12,000 metres of drilling into that when we picked up the asset. So we'll have an upgrade on that, and then we're looking at doing a couple of pit designs on that. So a small pit design to put that into production earlier than planned, and then a large pit design which will take in the whole resource and mine it as we go. I think also one of the key items that's happening at the moment is we're having a US group redesign pad expansion for us. We're looking to have that completed by July, and so then go through the permitting process to get that pad expansion underway and build it and give ourselves another 4 million tonnes capacity there. So along with exploration, along with looking at picking up other assets, along with pegging new ground. A whole bunch of stuff's happening at White Dam, and it's more than enough to keep us busy for the rest of this year and next year as well.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be a busy few months, and on from there. Matthew, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to chat to us.
No, thanks, Oriel. Pleasure seeing you again. Bye.